Good morning. It's Friday, January 9th. National Law Enforcement Day. If you can believe it, it's National Law Enforcement Day. That is quite the timing. And now, the news. We start how we start here in America, with 2 dead and 6 others injured after a suspect, who is still at large, opened fire outside of a Mormon church on Wednesday. Dozens were inside attending a funeral service at the time of the shooting. The shooting is not believed to have been an attack against the religion. Instead, it was one of 56 reported shootings that happened in America on Wednesday. That number is according to the Gun Violence Archive. Authorities are on the hunt for a suspect as well as a motive. And we continue on with yet another very American story, a very American episode all around, actually. So, obviously, this is a continuation of the story of Minnesota. First, I want to clarify a few things now that there has been more, clarity from when I first reported yesterday on the death of 37-year-old Renee Good. First, this started because she was trying to be a legal observer for her neighbors, who are immigrants. That's what she was doing when she was murdered. She was standing up for her neighbors. Kristi Noem says that she blocked federal officers with her SUV. I want you to hear me clearly. If you haven't seen the video, listen to what I am telling you. She put her hand out of the window and waved to let them go ahead of her. She was allowing them to pass before they got out of the car to stop her. Do not let them try and lie. If you've seen the video, do not let them tell you you cannot believe your own eyes. She told them they could pass. Instead, an ICE agent got out of the car and lunged towards her car, trying to open the door. Wouldn't you have also tried to leave? This is a stranger lunging at your car and trying to force the door open. Wouldn't you also try to leave? Knowing this ICE agent had no right to detain you, and frankly, even if they did, if a stranger lunged at your car and tried to yank the door open, would you allow it to happen? Frankly, it's a miracle she didn't slam on the gas. She did not. Instead, she started to back up so that she could responsibly turn her wheel and get away. She wasn't being detained. She hadn't done anything wrong. She was trying to leave. He had plenty of time to move away from the slow-moving car, and I'll tell you something incredible, he did. He fired once through the windshield as he was moving to the side, and 1 second later, he fired 2 more shots. He was on the side of the vehicle at that time. At that moment, you can see the car continue to accelerate. She had been shot 3 times, at least once in the face. It is likely at that point that she was already brain dead. It is almost impossible to believe, even if she were alive, that what was happening in that moment was anything other than a lifeless foot hitting the gas. Not everyone needs to watch the video. Every single person who believes that this was anything other than a police officer killing in cold blood, a woman who posed no threat whatsoever, must. The agent who shot her, by the way, was involved in a prior incident in June when he tried to get a man to roll his window down. When he didn't, this agent pulled his taser out, shattered the rear driver's window, and reached in to unlock the door. When that happened, the driver drove away, and the agent was dragged about 100 yards. I am sure, I'm not minimalizing this, I'm sure that was a genuinely scary incident. He said himself in the court documents that he feared for his life. But just 7 months later, he took actions to step in front of a car and then shot and killed the driver. You can't see him in the video at first, which means he was far enough away. He had to walk far enough to get into frame that if it were self-defense, as he claims, he had plenty of time to stop. I can't stress that point enough. He was not in frame when the video started. He had to walk a distance to put himself in front of the car. Then he moved away. He moved out of danger. He was not in front of the car. When he shot, he made an effort to get to that car. He was in no danger. He chose to be where he was, and he chose to do what he did. Kristi Noem, who deserves no respect whatsoever, who has no training or experience that gives her, the ability to have the job that she has, who, these are some fun facts about her, stole 10% of donations from the nonprofit American Resolve Policy Fund and put it in her LLC, her personal LLC, in 2023. She once pressured officials into giving her daughter a real estate appraiser license because her daughter couldn't get it herself. She was originally denied, but she pressured officials to give her that license when she was the governor. And when she was the governor, without any evidence whatsoever, she accused tribal leaders in South Dakota of profiting from drug cartels. So those are some things that have nothing to do with this story, but those are things that are true about Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem called what happened on Wednesday morning an act of domestic terrorism. And to be clear, she is saying that Renee Good was, in this case, the terrorist, the one that the ICE agent killed, murdered. That's who Kristi Noem says is the terrorist. On Wednesday, the Minneapolis police chief said that the FBI and Minnesota's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension would work together to investigate what happened. But by Wednesday night, the U.S. Attorney's Office had reversed that decision. They are now blocking the state from investigating the murder of their own citizen that was done by their government on their own streets. They are being blocked from investigating that. Not that it should matter, but she was, in fact, a citizen. She was white. And maybe it will make a difference. Maybe people will understand that it can happen to anyone, that she was a white woman. She was also a wife and a mother of 3. Yesterday, when reports said it happened in front of a family member, it was her wife. She was murdered in front of her wife. We know this because one of the videos taken after the shooting shows her wife sitting on the curb crying and saying, quote, "That's my wife. I don't know what to do," end quote. As protests continue, in an unconnected incident that still has more questions than answers as of this recording, 2 people were shot and wounded in Portland, Oregon by Border Patrol agents. Their conditions are unknown. And I do want to say this. As I'm recording this, their conditions are unknown. Maybe they're completely fine. Given everything happening right now, I think if they were completely fine, we would know by now. And again, there are not a lot of details about what happened, and I think that's for a reason. But here's what we do know. A spokesperson for Homeland Security said that the driver, quote, weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents, end quote. Where have we heard that before? He also said that they were affiliated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. He offered 0 evidence. Where have we seen that before? So which is it? Did you want to murder them for coming here illegally and committing a crime no more severe than a parking ticket? Or did you want to send them to a torture prison in El Salvador for the non-crime of simply being Venezuelan? For what it's worth, the Border Patrol is in Portland because Trump is going to replace ICE with the BPD in some areas. And the reason for that is because he prefers the way that the Border Patrol, BPD, is more aggressive. Although I gotta tell you, it sounds like ICE is plenty aggressive. Governor Walz has authorized the National Guard to be staged and ready to support state and law enforcement, though he stated that protests have been peaceful thus far. And please, God, let that stay the case. Because not unlike when the National Guard came here to Los Angeles, we are a tinderbox about to explode. Now more so than even then. And it's Minnesota, which Trump has been targeting for a while now. He wants something to go wrong. A woman was murdered, and if you think that that man has had any sort of sadness about it, are we thinking of the same person? He wants to invoke the Insurrection Act. He has always wanted to invoke the Insurrection Act. He's just looking at a map, throwing darts there, and picking other countries that he wants to overtake. Greenland. What are we going to do with Greenland? He wants to overtake other countries. Why on earth would anybody be naive enough to think that he wouldn't do anything he could to overtake this one? And that's it. That's the news. Look, it's not by a long shot. The Senate advanced a war powers resolution that will block the president from using armed forces against or within Venezuela without Congress. 4 Republicans crossed the aisle and voted with Democrats to make that happen. Across the Capitol in the House, 17 House Republicans voted with Democrats to extend the Affordable Care Act tax subsidies for 3 years. It now heads to the Senate, where the possibility of it passing is a little bit more questionable, but still, it happened. And it's Friday. And sometimes, when we have weeks like this one, I genuinely hate leaving you feeling like, I don't know, I guess I don't know how you feel, but I know how I feel, and it's not great. And so normally, I would like to leave you kind of on and up and find something. I'm very sorry. I'm not going to do that this time. If you look like me, if you're watching the podcast with your ears, not your eyes, I am so white. You have an obligation to stay angry. If you're not angry and instead you're sad, I do get that. I am also very sad. Feel whatever you need to feel. But there's got to be some anger in there also. The president is on a white nationalist mission. America first. And for a while, it was only if the America looked like, it's Stephen Miller, which is terrifying because he's afraid of garlic and the sun and he can't see himself in a mirror. But in general, it's, America first, but only the white people in America. That's what he wants. He wants more white people. He has literally said exactly that. But now, that's not even good enough. Now you have to be the right kind of white person. She was following all of the rules. She's a good little white woman. And that still wasn't enough in Trump's America. Not quite good enough. I'm not trying to make you scared, but we have to stay mad. I'm not telling you that you need to watch a million videos about this or keep the news on 24/7. I would suggest the opposite, in fact. But I am saying, stay loud. Stay in this. Do not let this administration lie about what happened. They will. Again, they are blocking the state of Minnesota from being able to investigate the murder that happened of their own citizen in their own state. They will lie about what happened. They have already started, but all that means is that we cannot stop telling the truth. Believe your own eyes. And there is, this element of we also want to put, as much love as possible into the world. And I do believe that. But this moment, especially for people that look like me, requires us to stay mad and pushing back and staying loud. That is an obligation that we have. This country is better than this moment. Something that I keep saying over and over and over again, if you have listened to the show for a while, you have heard me say this a million times, is that Trump is not forever. He is just a moment. We have a history that came long before this doofus came around. So presumably we must have a history long after this ding-dong's going to be here. But it is one that is going to take us fighting for it. He is not forever. He is not the sun. The world doesn't revolve around him. But to get past this moment, it is going to take all of us. It is going to take all of us together. And it is going to take all of us deciding that his hate that he chooses, he wakes up every single day and decides that the hate within his heart should be the way we operate. We have to decide that that is not going to be who we are as a country. So right now, we need to stay angry, stay loud, stay focused. And I know it sounds contradictory to be like, and do it with love. Somehow we have to do both. So I guess be with your community, be with the people you love, go forward in love, stay loud about what happened. Do not let them lie. Do not let them make you think that you can't believe your own eyes. And I don't have a clever way to drive to the end of this episode. I don't have a clever way to get to it. I just want to get to the absolute and indisputable truth of this. I'm proud of you.